Today is going to be go high level walkthrough day. So we're going to skip all the agency AI bro jargon and we're just going to dive into this simple funnel that you're looking at. I also have my personal funnel set up for you. So we'll go through the exact landing pages and sales pages and email automations that I use in my own business. And so we'll go through a very practical, sorry for the clicking, we'll go through a very practical kind of overview of Go High Level and how it can be helpful to you in your business, even if you are not a marketing agency. So if you clicked on this and you're like, hey, I want to learn how to, sell to local businesses or, sell SaaS, not what we're doing here. We're focused on you as a solopreneur content creator, having your own clients that aren't necessarily a marketing agency, or of course, most importantly, selling digital products like courses, communities, and of course, all sorts of digital downloads. So with that, let's go ahead and jump on in here. I'm trying a different approach to the streaming. But it's straining my eyes, so we'll have to switch. So if you're in the chat, go ahead and let me know where you're tuning. If you're in the chat, go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from. And then, of course, drop any questions you have about your specific niche, and I can answer questions on that as well. Let me figure. I do apologize for the live stream going to the the Mac close. What is it? The Mac screensaver. I'm still getting the hang of it here. So awesome thing first. Great to have you back and logged in to Go High Level so we can kind of walk through it. So Shelter B Media from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions about your specific niche or industry, do let me know. And think first, Ohio. Okay, awesome. So when it comes to creating your sales funnels, I just want to be transparent and upfront. There are only four offers. There are only four softwares on the market that you should be considering when it comes to. Pittsburgh is 3 hours. I forget. You guys are so close on the East Coast, if it's okay to call both those states East Coast. It's almost Midwest, but I lived in like California and Texas, and there's just nothing. You'll drive for a whole day and still be in the same state. But anyway, there are four different options that I've evaluated. So I never want to pretend like, oh, Go High Level and Systemi are the only ones out there, and you should only consider those. Obviously, I'm Team Go High Level at this point. But when it comes to them, I compare this to what you can do inside of ClickFunnels or inside of Kajabi, ClickFunnels, Go High Level, Systemi, and Kartra. So I guess that's actually five. So they're actually five. All the other solutions on the market, I think they're missing a key feature, or they just overcharge for what they do. So as we dive in here and this strategy and going through Go High Level, just wanted to share and keep that in mind that I'm not evaluating this or showing you the strategy in a vacuum. I know that there are some alternatives that you might be looking at. So before we dive in, speaking of Go High Level, they are sponsoring this video. So go ahead and check out that link in the description to grab your 30-day free trial. All the templates you're about to see, you get access to immediately. And we have some other cool bonuses as well. And I'll keep that pitch short because you probably want to know more about High Level and not me pitching a software that you don't know if is a good fit or not. So you'll see here that I have my funnel queued up. So we're going to go through that now. I do apologize for a little bit of the ranting. Thank you for sticking with me. And we're going to be going through this basic funnel up here. So we're going to have a landing page that offers a free lead magnet. We're going to have a sales page with an order bump and an upsell. And then we're going to deliver that product. And then we can also talk about email broadcasts, your newsletter funnel towards the end. But this strategy up here, you post, collect their email, give them an offer immediately, and then sell them a digital product. That's kind of the basic bare bones of how to sell digital products and courses and memberships online. There's no part of this process where you are physically talking to your prospects. There's no sales calls. There's no booking appointments. There's no calendar juggling, which is why I like this model so much. So I think I did a terrible intro for YouTube SEO purposes, But for you guys live here, if you have any questions, of course, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. So what we have, if I can get Vivaldi to stop showing that preview, you can see I got all the tabs lined up here. So hopefully we don't have to wait for anything to load. So the bare bones basic funnel that pretty much every digital product, course, community creator is going to create is actually their newsletter funnel. So just basic landing page, join my newsletter, right? But we're gonna start advanced. So I'm going to show you the very end, and then we're gonna go so we're gonna go backwards in terms of the way you should build, but forward because everybody wants to know the fun stuff, right? So this is the fun stuff. So this funnel is designed to collect email addresses from YouTube, give someone a immediate opportunity to purchase. Then we have an upsell and a confirmation. We've got an email automation, and that's it. So this is going to be like the first proper funnel that you would build. Even though there's tons of other things you should do before this to actually generate income faster, because this takes a while. But hey, this is the fun one. So this is what our new landing pages look like. If you've seen our old ones, they'll definitely be different. But you can see here, when you are driving traffic from social media or YouTube, any sort of organic, as long as it's not paid ads, this is all you need. The difference with paid ads is we have to have testimonials on here someplace. That's the main difference. But this is what a landing page looks like. Go High Level has all of the page building features you need. Go High Level has, just like the other 4 solutions I mentioned. So if you're concerned about, I don't know if I can build this page, the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Everybody allows you to build the pages you need. Nobody's behind the curve on that anymore. Whether it's easier or harder or not, that's another thing. But everything I'm showing you has no custom coding at all. This is all the actual out of the box what High Level can do. And so of course, in other trainings, we can go through the actual sales copywriting, but you can see here, it is a basic page. You click download now, they enter their name and email, and then they get the free offer. And then as soon as they click download now, they'll actually be taken over to this page, which is what I call a one-time offer page. So you'll see here, the countdown timer is 2 days, and there's a little message up top, confirmed your course playbook is on the way. It's very important that you let people know, hey, you opted in for free. This playbook is on the way. And then we have a full, this is our advanced sales letter template, but we have a full sales letter here, and we're offering this super discount one time for the next 72 hours, right? And so, of course, the backend High Level's handling the countdown timer. And so most people who see this aren't going to purchase, right? And so what happens is on our landing page, we set up something called a workflow. So when someone clicks download now, they're going to be added to this. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. So this is what workflows look like. Yes, they're scary. Yes, they're overwhelming. Anyone who tells you, it's super easy, you just set up a workflow for that. It's not. It's annoying. In fact, this is one of in my research, this is one of the things that people don't like about High Level the most, is how much you have to set up workflows. And so it's kind of a catch-22 where there's a lot of flexibility in what you can build and customization, but it's kind of like, comparing Notion to, Trello, right? Trello is pretty simple out of the box. It's a bunch of boards, you put in your tasks, and you're good to go. Notion is like this giant blank page, and it's going to take you a while to kind of find your rhythm. But once you find your rhythm, most people who are on Notion are just like, I could never go back. Why would you ever force me to use a basic Trello board? And I think that analogy would kind of be the similar here when it comes to workflow. So I don't want to shy away from the fact that this does take quite a bit of work, but we do have all these workflows set up for you. So you literally just copy paste them into your account if you decide to work with us. So how this works is you can see here there's a trigger. So when someone enters their name and email on that form, this workflow starts. We give them a tag saying, hey, they got their lead. This is a lead. And then we actually send them an email. Now this is another one of my gripes. You can see here, I wish there was a button to make this email full screen. But this is the email that goes out to people who enter their name and email on that landing page. So this automatically goes out. This link takes them to the playbook that they asked for. I use Google Drive. You just create a public share link and you share the PDF. That's it. That's all you got to do. In fact, if I jump over here, you can see that inside my Google Drive, we have all these different folders. And so if I have the playbook here, online course playbook. So this is the actual playbook that people get access to. And you can see here, it's nice and long, full of a lot of content and fill in the blanks. So people can actually find value in it. And then all I need to do is right click, share, copy link. And that is the link that is inserted here. So super easy. You can add attachments as well. I like doing links because inside of Google Drive, a lot of people don't know this, is you can actually, I'm always going to file information, and you can go to, you can go to file information. This is a Go High Level tutorial, and we're in Google Drive. Manage versions. You can actually upload new versions of the same file, even if it's not a Google Doc or spreadsheet. And then that way, you can see here, the first one was in 2022. Actually, both of these are 2022. But you can upload new versions of the same file and the link doesn't change. So wherever you shared it, you don't have to update it. So that's why I like using Google Drive links instead of, directly attaching inside of Go High Level, although that's something that you can do. And then the rest of the automation sends another 4 emails over a 72-hour period, because on our one-time offer page, they only get 72 hours before this offer expires. And each email is essentially building up so you can see here, I'm scrolling through the copy. I know it's really small to see. So each email is building up the value of what they just purchased. And then also, of course, telling them to, hey, check out the discounted offer. And so that's, if I scroll down here, you'll see that's essentially what this automation does. So there'll be a delay. We wait a couple hours. So you see, we wait 7 hours and then we send an email, or we wait 10 hours and then we send an email. So when it comes to automations, there's way more stuff you can do. However, when it comes to selling digital products, courses, even consulting, this is advanced as you have to get to start. Like this is, you have a lot more options. Like if I click trigger, there's tons of them. They even integrate with other solutions. I don't even know what I clicked on here. And so it can be super overwhelming, but the good news is something as basic as this, send a couple emails, send them over to your sales page, and you're good to go. So again, as a recap, because I see someone just joined, we've got our landing page. You click download now. This form pops up. When someone enters their name and email, they go directly to this page. 2% of people will buy at best. So we need to have an email sequence that follows up with them saying, hey, you've got 72 hours for this deal. You should check it out. And then if they don't buy, they just get added to our general broadcast list. And that's it. We move on. Also, awesome to see you sight unseen. Super cool that Think First Media invited you, and that's people are joining. So if I come back to our funnel here, if someone buys, by the way, if I'm going too fast, you're like, dude, you're going all over the place, please let me know. I always struggle to kind of break these things down because there's so many moving parts. But that covers our landing page and what you can do with a sales page. I'll go through the builder in a moment, by the way. And then if someone buys, then we send them to something called an upsell page. And so what happens is a page that looks something like this pops up. We have the template for you. And someone can add this to their order without entering their credit card information again. So this is really the key and power to upsells, because when someone purchases, they're in a buying mood. You kind of know what they want. So, hey, just give them another super discounted offer, right? So in this particular instance, I say the first offer I have is this digital product launch kit. I know, a little meta given the stream. And then, hey, you bought the digital product launch kit. You probably want a system to sell your offers, right? You probably want a way to drive traffic to what you just built. And so that's where, this upsell comes in. Now, to make things even more confusing, on your sales page, when someone clicks to buy, there's a basic order form there. They work with PayPal, or they work with PayPal and Stripe and a bunch of others. However, I'll get to the problem with PayPal in a moment. But I'll open up the builder here so you can see you can also add something called an order bump. So when someone goes to purchase on our one-time offer page, they enter their name and email, and then they're presented with, kind of like a doorbuster, right? That's doorbusters is what you get people in. Think of this as all of that candy and super helpful magazines when you're in the grocery store checkout line. It's kind of like the impulse buy, like, hey, you bought the suit. How about some free cufflinks? Or how about some super discounted, not free, but how about some super discounted cufflinks, or, a tie for 50% off or something like that. So that's what we do here. And this is just all about making sure that we maximize the revenue we get per transaction. And this is how you take a $5 to $40 offer and turn it into $150 because you just kind of keep stacking the value as people go through the sequence. And so, of course, Go High Level handles all this for you. They're automatically given access to the products, which we'll go through later on. Again, let me know if you have any questions about what we're talking about in the chat. I know we're kind of drinking from a fire hose today. And then if I jump back over here, the final page in this funnel, if you will, is just the confirmation page. And so there's a confirmation page. You say, hey, you got your digital product launch kit. There'll be a summary here of what they purchased. And then we go ahead and tell people the email they'll receive information from. Now, something that isn't talked about a lot when it comes to selling digital products online, and something that I really enjoyed with the customization of High Level, is the system emails come from your domain. So a lot of other providers, I'll use ThriveCart as an example. When someone purchases a product from us and we're using ThriveCart, the access email comes from like accounts@thrivecart.net. It confuses the heck out of people. They're like, what the heck is ThriveCart? I've never heard of this thing. I just bought from Jason. Where's his email, right? And so what's cool with High Level is your actual system emails will come from your domain once it's set up. So everything is you@yourdomain.com. And there's no confusion of like, why am I getting an email from Lead Connector? I don't know what that is. Everything is under you and your brand. And we are very, I've set up like custom, we won't go through it today because it's a little advanced, but you can also customize what those system emails look like. So your branding is all over them. It's your domain. People don't get confused. People don't get confused. That's not something I really came across until I actually started making significant sales. And I realized, wow, a lot of our customers are like, why am I getting emails from ThriveCart? What the heck is ThriveCart? Where's my stuff? So that does it for the basics of the funnel. Now, if there were two things I could complain about, because I do need to be honest here. Number one is the form on this page. This form you're seeing, you have to create it in a different interface. So when you go to create your page, and then inside of Go High Level, instead of I have the builder open here. Instead of setting up your form inside the page builder like you're seeing here, you have to go over to Forms, Builder, and then create and design your form over here. So it's treated as a separate element. So for me, that's really annoying. I don't like having to go to two different places and then embed. You can see here, like you have to design the form and then make sure that this design matches your landing page. Like for example, you can see here, my button color is wrong. So I have to go back to another place and fix the button color. The only advantage I see for our particular type of business is you can actually take these forms and embed them other places. So if you already have a WordPress site, you already have some landing pages and another page builder, instead of trying to move everything over to go high level at once, you can just create forms and embed those forms on your existing pages. And then all of your leads come into high level. And instead of trying to like move all your pages over in one fell swoop. And there's some other fancy things you could do that, like you can have upsells, you can turn them into a full-blown like checkout, but I won't get into that because I personally don't use it. I like to keep things as simple as possible, believe it or not. Believe it or not, that was simple. And so when it comes to creating a digital product funnel, going from creating social content or YouTube content and starting to grow your email list and make some sales, this is it. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and you are good to go. And so the other thing I wanted to point out is you do have the ability to split test pages. I've seen quite a few comments about high level and people complaining they can't split test funnels. I've yet to kind of figure out what feature they think is missing, but you can split test your pages. So if you can see here, actually, let me go ahead and open this up real quick so you can see. So on our main landing page, we have uncover your perfect course idea to monetize in the next 7 days. And then on our split test, that's embarrassing. Oh no, edit, probably because I didn't publish it. Here we go. And then on our split test here, we have a monetize what you already know in the next 7 days without overbuilding. So we can easily create 2 different headlines and then see which one gets more signups, right? And so that's a very easy way to learn more about your audience and what they want. And so I can essentially with one link, Go High Level will split the traffic between this test page and my main page. So if this page gets more signups than this one, then I know this headline speaks better to my audience, and I can go over to AI and say, hey, this headline beat this one, make more like this one, right? And so that's kind of like a bare bones basic feature you should have. Once you start running paid traffic, if you're running traffic from organic sources, really not going to make that big of a difference. Like most of the heavy lifting is done in your content or your content, your posts, and people are just hopping over to join your list. And speaking, you're going to see anywhere from 30 upwards of 60% of people joining your list when you go from when you drive traffic from content. Paid ads is a whole nother story. You got to be super on your game for that. And speaking of being super on your game, here's a quick just preview of what the stats look like. So something else that I really like is if you have multiple sales pages or multiple landing pages, you can kind of see and compare them. So you can see, for example, here, I've labeled mine VIDO. If I wanted to drive traffic from, like, let's say LinkedIn or X, I would just make another landing page so I can see the difference between my LinkedIn traffic and my X traffic. And it's very easy to see the differences. And of course, you can always have all the landing pages drive traffic to drive your people to your sales page, right? So you'd have a landing page for each one of your sources. So if I go back over here, so I'd have a landing page for social media, a landing page for YouTube, and if our podcast was still around, I want to bring that back, we'd have a landing page for our podcast. It's a great way to just see which traffic source is bringing you the most leads. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions, because that does it for the basics of what you can build. I didn't want to get too much into like click here, go there. If you have questions on like specific features that may or may not be available when it comes to page building, please do let me know. So this is kind of, if we're thinking about, you getting started with Go High Level or create any platform for that matter, creating your funnels, this is the end goal. So I've started at the end, like Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind, right? So this is the very end. This is the I know it sounds silly, the pinnacle funnel, right? Like this is what you're building towards. So now we're going to take one step backwards to the funnel you'd build before this. That's a lot simpler. And we'll start by asking a very simple question. Okay, what happens when this countdown timer hits 0? Well, we've all seen those fake gurus. They just reset the timer. Every software allows you to do this. What I like to do, because I think you should be ethical, and I, as a faith-based Christian entrepreneur, I can't really call myself that and have the timer reset. So what I do is when the timer goes to 0, I send people to the full price sales page. And so you can see here, this is the full price sales page at $95. And the way I have this kind of, and the way that I always have a quote unquote discount is when I scroll down here. This is a more advanced strategy, but we can get to that in some future streams, is I always make kits and I do a value stack. So I say, hey, if you bought all these things individually, it would cost you $284. But if you buy them as a bundle today, it's only $95. And so this way, your full price sales pages also offer a discount. This is not as deep of a discount as if they'd gone with the 72-hour offer, because that's $39. So on this page, on this page, it's only $39, right? It's only $39. But if the 72 hours expires, you're still getting a pretty good deal. In, of course, my opinion, I created it, but not as good of a deal, right? You're going to pay $100. And it's really important that you keep your pricing consistent and you stick to your guns, because as time moves on, your audience and people who follow you, who begin to follow you, will notice, oh, when he gives a discount, he actually means it, or she actually means it. She's not just going and changing the page, back later, 24 hours after the promo. So I do think that's really important for your brand reputation. And so the second funnel, if I go back here, you'll see I have a funnel, TCP, to collect leads, and then I have this funnel for promoting the same offer to my email list. So what I'll do is I have the main sales page. So anytime a timer dies, they go to this sales page right here. That's the one I showed you. This is the quote full max price, right? And I still figure out how to do a discount by basing it upon value of the offer. And then if I want to do an email promotion for this, obviously I don't want to change this page because this page is connected to other funnels. So what we do is we create a second sales page, or third, depending upon how you're counting. And I have this timer is set on a specific date. So this page, this sales letter looks exactly the same like the first one we talked about, but the difference is I only use this one for people on my email list. So if I do an email promotion, I'll do 48, 72 hours. I do 72 hours because it takes about that long for people to actually open their emails. And so inside of this second funnel, I have another sales page here. I'll go ahead and open up to edit it to show you, where I get to manually set a timer. So the first sales page, and I realize we're going through a lot here. So this first sales page, this timer sets for each person who joins. So if you join today, you're going to see 72 hours. If your friend joins tomorrow, they're going to see 72 hours. And your timers are different because Go High Level is using something called a cookie with that specific person. It's how you kind of get these like really customized deadline funnels. But when I'm running promotions to my email list, I use a separate page, and if I come down here, I set the date. So typically I send my first promotion on Wednesday or Thursday, Tuesday or Wednesday. And then like, let's say I'm going to have the promotion end Friday at 12 a.m., right? And so that way people who are on my email list, they can go and get the discount for that limited time. And then when this timer expires, it automatically sends people over to the full price sales page. So I'm just going to go ahead and click back here and jump back over to our funnel. And then, of course, this funnel also has an upsell and order bump and all that fun stuff. So again, in the chat, let me know if you have any questions. And so if I go back to our funnels list here, you'll be creating a sales funnel for people who are joining your email list for the first time for your content, from your content. And then you'll create almost the same funnel for people on your email list. So you're going to have multiple versions of the same sales page, which is another reason why when you're evaluating softwares, you want to make sure that you have as many pages as possible, because when you look and say, oh, okay, I can have 5 funnels. Well, I only have 4 offers, so that should be okay. Well, no, each offer eventually is going to be at least 2 funnels. I'm not inflating this to try and make one software look better than another. I'm just telling you from a management perspective, this is part of what drew me to High Level, because it makes it so easy for me to manage multiple promotions at once. And I can do email promotions all day long and it won't affect whatever I'm doing organically. Like this funnel is 100% automated, right? The first one I showed you, I set it up and I don't touch it. This funnel, this is the one I can change the dates or the bonuses or the features, specifically for my email list. And actually, let me just show you real quick. If we come into products here, later in the demo, I'll show you what the actual products section looks like. But you can see here, this is where you just easily add in whatever your product is. And something that I really like, if I click on edit here, is you can actually set up multiple product prices for one offer. So it makes management super easy. I have one product. This is my deep discount. This is the deepest discount you will ever see. This is the normal discount, and then this is full price, right? Just from a side, when I have an offer as an order bump or an upsell, that's always going to be the cheapest option ever. And this also makes sure that our pricing stays consistent. So I'll go ahead and click on cancel there because I don't want to mess. I'm actually using this funnel. And so when it comes to the funnel side of Go High Level, that's pretty much all the features you need. Again, the page builder is going to have everything you need. And if you decide to join via our 30-day trial, you can see here, these are the exact templates that you get access to. So I'm not like making some worse version for you. This is the exact same design. Obviously, change the colors. I did purposely make the colors bad because I got sick of people not changing the colors and using our colors. So you're forced to change the colors in the logo. But after that, you're off to the races, right? Unless you like that blue. I guess some people do. So again, let me know if you have any questions. So what I want to do now is talk quickly about what happens when someone actually purchases. So this is going to be, we're going to go through your courses, preview of what the courses look like. Let me go ahead and refresh this page. Reload. Every browser calls it differently. So let me just make sure and reload. I think it got messed up in my previews there. So inside of the funnel I just showed you, when I go to products, what's nice is once someone purchases, Go High Level will automatically give people access to the products that you've listed here or the communities that you've listed here. You do not need to set up a workflow. I've noticed some tutorials get a little advanced and people get confused, like, oh, I have to set up a workflow just to give people access to something. You don't. You can set up custom workflows to be more custom, but out of the box, you don't need to do this. So as an optional thing, you can set up a workflow to essentially welcome people to your offer. And so if you want, and again, this is also included in the playbooks we get, or the snapshot we provide, you can also set up a workflow to start anytime someone purchases. So you can see here, anytime someone purchases Digital Product Launch Kit, start this automation. What's super cool is I showed you 2 funnels, right? So this one workflow works for both of those funnels. And if I have this offer as an upsell or order bump in another funnel, this workflow also triggers. So it's, without getting too into the weeds, this also saves a lot of time because you set up one workflow for one product. And it doesn't matter where you're selling it. This is going to figure out, hey, someone bought this product, so this workflow should start. And For time purposes, I'll go ahead and leave it there. Just say you can create a custom welcome sequence for your products if you want. It does get a bit messy if you have an upsell and order bump, because then you're sending like 3 different welcome sequences. So there is some headache involved there, which is why I don't recommend doing this. But I just wanted to show you, you can set up workflows based upon products people purchased. You can give people access to products and communities via workflows. You can take away access for products and communities via workflows if you want to do some like fancy 30-day trials, or wait 90 days to give people access to something. And then of course you can also remove people from other workflows, which, as you can tell, we're starting to get a little confusing. So I'll leave it at that because I don't want this to turn into a super deep dive tutorial again. But as you can see here, someone buys, we give them access to the course, we tag them as a customer, and then we remove them if they're in some sort of sales sequence, right? So like if they're going through this sequence saying, hey, buy this thing, buy this thing, buy this thing, and then they buy it, we need to make sure that we have a workflow later that takes them out of that sequence. So they stop getting the buy this, and you're like, I bought this yesterday, why are you still sending me emails type of thing. So let's go ahead and jump into courses here. Please let me know if you're still here in the chat. It always gets scary when I talk for like 20 or 30 minutes and nobody has a question. Or maybe I'm just doing that good of a job and I can pat myself on the back. Probably not though. So when it comes to the product side of Go High Level, of course, you have your courses and you have communities, and that all lives inside your membership site. So I won't go through the client portal stuff, but if you have one-on-one coaching or consulting, they have some pretty cool features to help you manage all of your clients as well and give your clients access to specific trainings and courses, which is pretty cool. So this is what the back end looks like for my Go High Level and my courses. You can see here, I think I've run like maybe one promotion so far. We're still moving people over from some of the other solutions we're using, but you can see here also these previews look terrible. They do fix themselves on the front end. So when you see this and you're like, oh wow, that's awful, it will punch in and fix itself. Don't worry. So this is kind of your back end of what your courses looks like. If I come over to our settings here, you can set up a custom domain for your courses. A site unseen, learning a lot. Awesome. Just let me know if you have any questions. Good to know. And you can essentially you get to customize your membership site with your own domain, your own branding. You can customize the login page as well. I guess you can also configure a chat widget. That's a huge thing that I'll be doing more content on later for the AI. The AI chat widget abilities is something that a lot of, I think, the other competitors are far behind on. But I did want to quickly mention because I mentioned this earlier, these are the emails that automatically get sent out. And so as an example here, if I go ahead and preview, when someone gets access to our site, I was able to, as a first-time customer, I was able to set up this custom email to go out to people when they first sign up. So you can see here, I got my branding on there. This comes from noreply@jasonwhaling.com, and I was able to customize all of this info. Most other softwares are not going to let you touch this email. It's going to look something like, it's going to look closer to something like this, where it's just super plain, like, hey, welcome to our stuff. Here's the thing. So that's something that I really liked. And the other thing too, and you'll see here, is I've actually set this up. I have a template for we've moved. So we're very close to moving everybody over. And so when we add everyone to High Level from whether they were in, Teachable, Thrivecart, or whatever other software we've used in the past, that we're moving them from, we can customize this and say, hey, we've moved. And so as we get people onto the platform, we're using this email. And then later on, I can just switch it to this one, and you can see, hey, here's how to access your content, right? And eventually these templates will be available to you inside of our community. I'm just tweaking. I'm still tweaking them. So I'll go ahead and click on X there. But you can go ahead and customize all these emails. It's pretty cool to be able to customize your system emails. So I'll go back over to settings and let's get into actually building some products, right? So here we go. I think this is where I was, courses. So let's go ahead and look at the course we're actually selling, the digital product launch kit. So if I jump in here, nope, edit, courses, here we go. So this is what it looks like on the back end when you're setting up your course content. And then this is what the course can look like on the front end. Now there are a couple of different designs Go High Level gives you. I recommend doing this one because it's the least amount of work. I know, I'm going to admit it. I do not like doing work that customers don't care about. And so if you come here on the left-hand side, you can see here, these are all the different modules. So like, let's say they want to go to Ideal Customer. You can upload your videos directly to High Level. And then there's this little section where you can have your info for the module. And that's pretty much it. Anything else, I think, is overcomplicating the process. You can see here some of the modules have like an extra download. So I go ahead and just put a picture of what it looked like on the sales page. And then when they click download, it'll take them over to, you guessed it, Google Drive. And then they can save this to their own drive. But actually, that was a bad example because that should have been a copy. So let me go here. Please do it. There we go. So in Google Drive, quick little aside, you can set up the links so that it forces people to make a copy. So the first time I clicked a link, the document opened. That confuses people. People ask me for access all the time. Like, hey, I can't access this. I'm like, yes, you can. Just go click, make a copy. So we set links up like this. And all you need to do, sorry, I hide my address bar. So I won't be able to show you, but essentially at the end of the URL, you remove edit and type in copy and you're good to go. That's how you do it. So this is what the front end looks like. You can change the background color. You can change the color of the text. You can see here, not the greatest color choice on my part. And then pretty much all the colors here you can see you can change, and you have a little bit of control over the font. And if I were to go to courses preview, you can see here, this is what your students would see as a course dashboard. So what we just went through is an individual course once they click, but the full dashboard, this is going to be what they see. You can also set up some of these courses to look like an upsell. So like, let's say someone purchased the Rev Alpha Canvas, but I want to upsell them on the digital product launch kit. Well, you can actually set it up. So if someone purchases this, they'll see this digital product launch kit as a unlockable course. And if they click on it, there's a little sales page preview and says, hey, you can upgrade for, X amount of dollars, right? So that's something that's pretty cool. It does take a bit of time to set up, but it is something that you can do. Personally, I haven't gone through that process, but I just wanted to point out you can lock some courses. So once someone's in and you want to like preview, like, hey, you should join our $500 a year program, which is what ActOS track 2 is, or level 2 is, then you can go ahead and kind of have that in their face every time they jump into their membership. They can see, oh, you have more to offer. So when let's go ahead and go to edit here. So in terms of editing a module, you can see here that for the post structure, you create categories and then you create these kind of subcategories. So if I jump into this module page here, you'll be able to see that we can upload a thumbnail, which doesn't matter for the design I'm showing you. And then, of course, you can upload your video. There's a basic text box here. Drop in whatever you like. You're good to go. You can manually attach files. Again, I link everything through Google Drive because that allows me to have one link for all of time, and I don't have to go back anywhere to update a file if I change it in Google Drive. But what I should do is show you a preview of what I apologize. I did not load up what the other version looks like, because they have a version that looks like Kajabi. So let me just edit. If you go to customize, browse templates. Here we go. So this is the other template that they have. And this is going to be the Kajabi style. You see where you need a thumbnail for each one of your modules or sections. I'm not a fan of this one. So because students really don't care about do not care about these extra images. And it also makes it harder to find course content because people have to click extra. So I'm a big fan of what they call the new theme, which I think is the more teachable. I would put it more in the teachable style category, where you just have everything that they have access to on the left-hand side. It's easy to find and navigate. So at least you can see, but if you want to be more advanced or you really like the Kajabi style, you have that option. Now, I know I'm talking a lot. Please let me know if you have any questions, of course. So, of course, wow, that's pretty meta. Now, something that is confusing with high level is we've already talked about funnels, and we've just kind of covered creating courses. There's a whole community side of it too. They're working on a communities marketplace as well, but I'll just show you. When you create a community, this is what it looks like. I just created ours. You'll get access to the 30-day automated income challenge if you join via our 30-day trial in the description. But what's cool is inside of the communities, you can have different threads. That's not the right term. But you can also set up courses inside a community. And so what you can do is you can add a course. Let's see if I have a sales funnel architect here. And you can set it as an upsell, like, hey, buy now. And you can see this is custom pricing, right? So you can essentially set up, hey, I have a free community, and you get like 30% off all our stuff, right? Or you get 30% off a certain number of things. Or you can have a time unlock. So this is what I actually do. With this community I just set up. Where it's time limited. And so if I come over to edit, I set it so after someone's been a member for 30 days, they get access to it. So this is a great way to set things up. Excuse me, I apologize. To set things up if you have a monthly membership. So instead of like blasting everyone with all the content at once, I go ahead and figure out, okay, I think these are the 3 most important things for people to get started with Go High Level, or just get started with their business in general. And so they get access to these first 3 like instantly out of the gate. I think that's most important. And then I can drip these out over time. So for example, like this last one, the YouTube Evergreen system is 150 days, right? So it's a couple months later. But that way, as subscription revenue comes in, people continue to unlock things as time goes on. So I just wanted to show you the communities feature. It is, I would say, on par with Circle. I haven't personally used School, but School seems like a copy of Circle, so I'm just going to say it's probably pretty close to the same. They have some gamification stuff in there as well. That's just not me and my personality. And I'd rather have you guys growing your business as opposed to like trying to get points to comment in my community. So I'll leave those features alone. But when it comes to connecting your courses and your funnels, you make something called an offer. And so just as a quick example, you can see here, we have my digital product launch kit. So if I want to create a new offer, I just give it a name. I select the product or products. So like, let's say I want the smart content kit and the VSL copywriter for some reason, right? And then I can set my price. And then when I click on create, go back here, I'll be presented with a page that looks something like this. And this is something that genuinely excited me. I know this seems silly. Like, why would you want a page? Why would you want this when you have like a full-blown sales letter? But hear me out. Once you add some copy here, which again, we have a template for, you can actually start making sales. And so instead of going through all of the process that I showed you earlier of, creating this funnel and setting up these sales pages and these timers and whatnot, all you need to do is simply create this simple page in less than 20 minutes and then ship it off to your email list or share it to, your small following, right? You don't need to have a super fancy funnel like we went through with the first two in order to start making sales, because all you need to make sales is this simple page. I've seen some pretty big name, I would say, companies in the digital product creation or digital product niche, selling digital products, literally just creating these simple go high level checkout pages, because all people need is information about what they're getting. And some, you can actually put a video up here too. So I have another one where I have like a 5-minute video. It explains the templates. There's a couple of bullet points here. Here's your money back guarantee. I need to change this to 7 days. That's a rant for another day. And then they can enter their name and email and they're off to the races. And so something that I really like about this particular setup is you don't have to create a funnel to start making sales. And if you want to have, you saw earlier, I had multiple prices. That is confusing because you have to go over to payments and products and then add multiple prices. And then it messes up the shopping cart, then it messes up the e-com features, but we're going to keep things basic here. And I'll just say that there is a way to have multiple prices for your one product. So you don't have to make like a new product every time you want to do a promotion. You can just add a pricing plan and call it good, which is pretty cool. So if I jump over, back over to our courses preview here, that actually does cover it for a full A to Z overview of what you can do with Go High Level, starting off with creating your lead generation one-time offer funnel that includes that automation to get people to make that first purchase. Then you're going to be building your kind of flash sale funnels for your email list, where you're every other week, or if you can every week. Obviously, we don't have enough products to do that, but eventually every week you're going to be able to send off a sales letter, something like this, giving people a crazy discount for, the next X number of days. And keep in mind, once you get up to like 15 products, you can do promotions every week. Like every 15 weeks, you can just rotate through the same offers because it's been 15 weeks. People aren't going to remember what you promoted 15 weeks ago. And so this is part of why I'm so excited with this digital product model, especially for you and getting started. And then, of course, we went over courses and all the different courses you can create. It's unlimited, and there's no caps in terms of how many courses you can offer, which is, I think, a problem with Kajabi and ClickFunnels, if I could go so far. They limit how many products you can have, which I do find silly. I understand why they do it that way, but that's just something to keep in mind as you're evaluating different solutions. And then, of course, we also briefly touched on what the communities looks like in terms of courses. But the popularization of the communities model, I will just say this, it's just that, a popularization. You're much better off focusing on digital products. You'd be surprised how few people actually want to pay to go to talk to other people. They might pay to talk to you and get your insights, but I do find the concept of, oh, people want to pay to just be around other people like them, is dramatically overhyped. Every single community I've been a part of, whether it was free or cost upwards of thousands of dollars, the engagement has been super low. So again, that's just my personal experience. And so when it comes to go high level, I think the only other thing I could point out that I'm actually using inside here. So if you have any questions and you're still with me, I can't see the live count, but if you have any questions, please do let me know, because we went through pretty much everything. Is under marketing. Social, something expired there. But under marketing, you can actually go ahead and schedule your posts. So we've been scheduling our LinkedIn posts here, and you can actually connect to a lot of different platforms. There's no X. I do believe there's, if I click on add new social here, so you can see these are all the socials you have access to. I really wish they had X. I understand they don't want to pay the API costs, which are pretty expensive. And if X is something that you decide to focus on as a content platform, you also need to make sure that you find a solution that allows you to post threads. Because even basic solutions like Buffer don't, some of their basic plans don't include threads as well, if I am remembering correctly. So, but anyway, you can go ahead and get your Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest content all hooked up. Obviously, if you're doing Instagram, you should go schedule directly. And then, of course, YouTube and TikTok, you can also schedule directly on those platforms. But if you do short form content, you can knock out TikTok and YouTube in the same scheduler. So that is nice. But for long form content, still go to YouTube and get all your settings done properly. But for shorts and TikToks, it's probably fine. So that, I believe, now that really does do it. I was trying to kind of stall a little bit there in case we had any questions. So please let me know if you have any questions, or just let me know that you're still with me. But that really does do it for everything that I use Go High Level for, and everything you would use Go High Level for as a actual digital product, course creator. And so what's also really cool, everything I showed you is available on the 97 price plan. I'm not using the SaaS mode. I'm not using the agency mode. And so when it comes to when you're comparing, Go High Level to the other solutions that I think are actually comparable in terms of features or what you can do, just definitely keep in mind, look at those limits in terms of how many products and courses you can have. And then of course, the email pricing is something I'll get to in a moment here, but we have a question. One question: when do you think it is a good time during the day to schedule your post? In the morning, afternoon, or evening? That's a great question. So High Level actually has okay, I'm going to be honest. My wife does all the scheduling. I just write. I do the writing. But when you go to create a new post, when you set your account, oh gosh, I need to type some content in here. Select your account. I'm answering your, I need to reconnect. So when you go to schedule your post, schedule post, it will actually show you the best times for your wherever you're particularly located. So for me, I'm in the Philippines right now. So 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 8 p.m., essentially 8 to 10 p.m. is the best time for me, because that winds up being in the morning, East Coast time. So for example, if you're in Ohio, I think that's Eastern Standard Time. So it's pretty late at night for you. It's mid-morning for me and here in the Philippines. So you would actually probably want to have your post scheduled around 7 or 8 a.m. your time, Eastern Standard Time. Because you have to remember, all those West Coast folks, which used to be me, we're still asleep. Like, you're at work at your desk and you've been working for an hour and we're just waking up. Okay, maybe we've been awake an hour, but you do want to keep in mind, especially for LinkedIn, the mornings seem to be the most active time to post. Obviously, if you're not targeting the US for some reason, you're in Ohio, so you're probably targeting the US, then maybe you'd want a different time. But in terms of scheduling, Go High Level is actually going to give you the data on your best time to post, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on back there so I don't mess anything up. And so that would be the easy answer is the mornings for LinkedIn X content. And then for something like YouTube, you're looking at 11:30 or 3:30. Those are specific Pacific Standard Time for me. But again, it varies widely. One of the keys to kind of think about when you're scheduling your content is when do you think people are kind of not mindlessly, when are people taking a break to scroll? I should be more polite. So for example, if you're targeting people on the East Coast, it probably doesn't make you could post like right before lunchtime. But if it's some sort of sales post, you probably want it to be in the morning or at night when someone's in a situation where they might actually be able to buy, versus if you're posting like 3 or 4 times a day for social content and you just have some engagement stuff, posting midday makes sense. People are just going to, pick up their phone during their lunch break and scroll. By the way, if you have any other questions, please let me know. I'm kind of stalling on the questions front. People just pick up their phone, they start scrolling. That's great. A great time for engagement, like your midday post. But if you have a strong call to action, or you need people to show up to an event, definitely do that in the morning or the evenings. I remember one marketer saying, "Oh yeah, we send our emails at like 9 p.m. at night because that's when all the people on our list are tired and they're just going to impulse buy." I'm like, all right, well, as long as you believe in your product and you think that impulse is going to lead to a better outcome for them, by all means. I'll just say it's really easy to overthink it. It's so easy to overthink it. So obviously the most important thing is start. And I know sight unseen, you're just joining us. So there is, if you look at some of the previous streams, we actually went through content creation, prompts and creating LinkedIn posts. And so you can go ahead and check those out if you have more questions on if you have any more questions on how to actually specifically create content. So if I look at our live stream here, I don't know why. Oh boy. Let me know if you have any other questions. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Looks like we have a couple of people still on. One is me, so there we go. But the other, so there's one other thing I wanted to kind of mention with Go High Level. So if I jump, I'm gonna jump full screen for the first time today. Oh boy. Sometimes like you go to take a picture and the thing is like looking at you as a selfie and you go, oh wow, I look like that today. My gosh. So, shout out and thank you to Think First for asking about my back. It's doing better. But I'm looking at my face in the preview. I'm like, wow, am I swollen? So the last thing I wanted to mention in terms of looking at high level versus some other solutions out there, and I'm actually going to be doing a full-blown review, so that'll probably come in in the next week, is the confusion around the emails. So when you are looking at high level, just to let you know, the 97 price plan is more than enough for our business model. But when it comes to emails, the actual sending of emails is handled as a different expense. And so that's kind of one of the advantages, but also one of the biggest criticisms of high level is, that 97 price plan covers the software. It doesn't cover some of the usage. So kind of think of it like you're paying $97 for the car, and then however much gas you use is kind of on you. It's the silliest analogy I've got. And so when it comes to sending emails, you are going to be paying something they have. It's variable, so you're looking at about an additional $25 a month for your email sending if you're have a list of 5 to 10,000, depending upon how many emails you are sending. And so I just want to include that you'll notice that a lot of the other providers talk about how many emails you can send, because they are essentially, they have to make sure that you don't send so many emails they lose money, right? Because as scalable as the digital product business model is, sending emails does cost money. Running servers and allowing traffic to come to our sites does cost money as well. So just definitely keep that in mind. You can have, the reason I'm not doing any specific numbers is you can use GPT and tell it, hey, I have this many contacts and I want to send this many emails a week. How much per month is Go High Level going to charge me for sending emails? And then you'll get like a specific answer. And for the most part, the only others, there's very few solutions out there that will actually truly give you 100% unlimited email sending. And even with some of the top competitors, you're going to see that they're more expensive because they have to kind of essentially forecast how many emails you're going to send. But I just wanted to let you know that with the 97 price plan, you get everything we talked about today, but there is an additional cost to actually physically sending the emails. So the more emails you send, the more you're going to wind up paying. But presumably you're sending emails because you're actually making money. So one of the reasons I like this model is one of my previous providers, I won't say their name because it's not technically their fault, but I was paying them like $200 a month to just house my 20K email list. I'm like, I didn't send any emails because I was, stuck at home with a certain little virus that ran around the world. So I did nothing for months. And I'm like, well, I paid like $600 to send 3 emails. That was kind of not fun. But I think that's enough for stalling. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any follow-up questions about using High Level or comparing it to some of the other possible alternatives on the market, more than happy to answer those questions. So again, thank you so much for watching. It is a blast putting these together for you guys and gals, of course. My stats say most of us are dudes, so I just keep saying guys. But tomorrow we will actually dig into creating your newsletter funnel. So we're going to go through designing your newsletter, coming up with your headlines and your landing page. Of course, I've got a template all set up and ready to go for you because that's the easiest way to get started. I showed you all the fun, complicated stuff, but we gotta start somewhere, and that's going to be actually growing your email list because that's going to give you the greatest leverage moving forward. So I see there's no more questions. Definitely huge shout out and thank you to Go High Level for sponsoring this and all of the live streams. We're on day 10, so we've got another week and a half to go. And I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, keep building the business you love. Take care.